Despite Iran's public snub, Trump repeats his claim that Tehran secretly wants negotiations. By saying it's too late now for talks, is Trump trying to save face after Iran's blunt rejection of any diplomacy? As Larijani blasts Trump for plunging the region into chaos and declares diplomacy off the table, is Washington running out of off-ramps? On day 4 of mutual strikes, with the US Embassy in Riyadh hit by drones and Iran's assembly building flattened, is this war locked on a dangerous escalator? As Iran continued striking Israeli and US targets across the Gulf region, President Trump issued a new, stern message to Tehran. The American president declared that it was now too late for any negotiations with Iran, even as the military exchanges were still underway. This hard line came even as Trump simultaneously claimed that Iran's new leadership had signaled a willingness to open talks with Washington. They want to talk. I said, too late, Trump wrote in a Truth Social post on March 3rd, insisting that Iran's air defense, air force, navy, and leadership were gone. It was the second time in days that Trump had made such a claim, after saying on March 1st that Iran wanted to hold talks with him and that he had initially agreed. Trump said, quote, "They want to talk, and I have agreed to talk, so I will be talking to them. They should have done it sooner. They should have given what was very practical and easy to do sooner. They waited too long. Most of those people are gone. Some of the people we were dealing with are gone, because that was a big hit. They could have made a deal. They played too cute." Unquote. A report in the Wall Street Journal claimed that Iranian security chief Ali Larijani pushed to resume talks with the United States through back-channel contacts. According to that report, Larijani allegedly made this effort via Omani mediators in the days after Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei was killed. However, Larijani quickly refuted Trump's claims and the media reports in a post on X published on 2nd March. "We will not negotiate with the United States," the head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council wrote, insisting Tehran was not seeking talks. Larijani also said Trump had plunged the Middle East into chaos with his delusional fantasies, accusing him of sacrificing American troops for Israel's ambitions. Larijani's message said, quote, "Trump has betrayed America first to adopt Israel first. Trump's wishful thinking has dragged the whole region into an unnecessary war, and now he is rightly worried about more American casualties. It is indeed very sad that he is sacrificing American treasure and blood to advance Netanyahu's illegitimate expansionist ambitions." Unquote. Israel and Iran continued exchanging fire on March 3rd, marking the 4th straight day of intense cross-border attacks. The Israeli military said it had launched its 9th wave of airstrikes against targets in Tehran and other Iranian sites. Explosions were reported in Tehran and in the nearby city of Karaj, according to Iranian news agencies and local media. One of the strikes flattened the building used by Iran's Assembly of Experts in Qom, the clerical body tasked with selecting the next supreme leader, Reuters reported. Iran's state media also said the historic Golestan Palace complex in Tehran, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, was damaged by blast waves and debris from the attacks. Iranian drones hit the US Embassy compound in Riyadh, causing minor damage and starting a small fire inside the mission, Saudi and US officials said. The US Embassy in Kuwait had also come under Iranian attack earlier in the conflict, prompting similar security alerts. In response, Washington temporarily shut both missions in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and ordered the evacuation of non-emergency US government personnel. On March 2nd, Iran's Revolutionary Guard said it had targeted the office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Tehran-directed missile strikes. An APA-linked report the same day claimed Netanyahu's office was struck by Iranian missiles, though Israel has not confirmed a direct hit and Netanyahu later appeared in public. Iranian officials also claimed that facilities linked to Israel's Air Force Command were among the locations targeted in that barrage. Meanwhile, President Trump said he was ready to continue US combat operations against Iran for 4 to 5 weeks, and suggested the campaign could run far longer.
So before we begin this important ceremony, and there's no ceremony that can be much more important than this, let me provide a brief update on Operation Epic Fury. Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime. Following our obliteration of Iran's nuclear program in Operation Midnight Hammer a short while ago, we warned Iran not to make any attempt to rebuild at a different location because they were unable to use the ones that we so powerfully blew up, but they ignored those warnings and refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. In addition, the regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically, and this posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas. The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America. The purpose of this fast-growing missile program was to shield their nuclear weapon development and make it extraordinarily difficult for anyone to stop them from making these highly forbidden by us nuclear weapons. We were the ones that were complaining. We were the ones that wanted it stopped. But everybody was behind us. They just didn't have the courage to say so. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people. Our country itself would be under threat, and it was very nearly under threat. I was very proud to have knocked out the Iran nuclear deal by President Barack Hussein Obama. That was a horrible, horrible, dangerous document. They would have had nuclear weapons 3 years ago, and they would have used them. But I'll not let that happen. For almost 47 years, this regime has been attacking the United States and killing Americans. Every time you see someone with missing arms and legs or a face that's been absolutely shattered violently, it was almost certainly caused by an Iran roadside bomb. They were put there by General Soleimani, who was the father of the roadside bomb. Very proudly, he thought, but I terminated him in my first term. This was our last best chance to strike what we're doing right now and eliminate the intolerable threats posed by this sick and sinister regime. And they are indeed sick and sinister. Our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis, and their capacity to produce brand new ones, and pretty good ones they make. Second, we're annihilating their navy. We've knocked out already 10 ships. They're at the bottom of the sea. Third, we're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon. Never going to have a nuclear weapon. I said that from the beginning. They're never going to have a nuclear weapon. They were on the road to getting one legitimately through a deal that was signed foolishly by our country. And finally, we're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies outside of their borders. And we thought we had a deal, but then they backed out. And they came back, and we thought we had a deal, and they backed out. I said, you can't deal with these people. You've got to do it the right way. Today, we grieve for the 4 heroic American service members who have been killed in action and send our love and support to their families. In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve to crush the threat this terrorist regime poses to the American people, and a threat indeed it is. We have the strongest and most powerful, by far, military in the world, and we will easily prevail. We're already substantially ahead of our time projections, but whatever the time is, it's okay. Whatever it takes, we will always, and we have right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do it. Whatever somebody said today, they said, oh, well, if the president wants to do it really quickly, after that he'll get bored. I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this. Do you agree with that, Pete? I don't think there's anything, Mr. General. I think there's nothing boring about it. Somebody actually said from the media, I think he'll get bored after about a week or two. No, we don't get bored. I never get bored. If I got bored, I wouldn't be standing here right now, I guarantee you that, to go through what I had to go through. We also projected 4 weeks to terminate the military leadership, and as you know, that was done in about an hour, so we're ahead of schedule there by a lot.